Part 2. Splintered Glass. Leonardo. What was never said? As children, we were a mess of contradiction, sometimes loving, often confused. He was sensitive, strikingly handsome, generous, and sharp-witted. He helped us whenever he could, honest to the core. I never understood why our father always targeted him. Dad beat him for no reason, regularly and harshly. I was about 12 when I came home from school and was told that Leonardo had been taken to a psychiatric hospital. He said he'd had a nervous breakdown. My first question came quickly. Where is he? When can we visit? Nothing made sense. There hadn't been any warning, not that I could see. How had things gone so wrong so fast? Why hadn't we noticed? I insisted on going with my parents. I needed to see him. I needed answers. That visit is burned into me. The facility looked like a prison. Thick metal gates, heavy chains, a massive padlock. We weren't allowed inside. The staff called the patients out to see visitors. When Leonardo approached, he wore a kind of a straitjacket. His arms were free, but his eyes were vacant. He didn't recognize us. He shook our hands like strangers. How are you? I asked. In a frozen voice, he said, I'm okay. The visit lasted less than 10 minutes. On the way home, I asked again my parents what happened to him. Just a breakdown, they said. When Leonardo returned home, he was heavily medicated, hollowed out. He barely spoke, slept most of days, and was treated like dead weight. One afternoon, a fight broke out upstairs. Me, Serena, and Christian. Leonardo, groggy, had just woken up. Dad stormed in, heard the commotion, and took it out of Leonardo. He had nothing to do with it, but that didn't matter. He ended up with a broken lip and blood on the floor. That night, Leonardo left. No one stopped him. Our parents didn't care. If anything, they looked relieved. He had nowhere to go, no relatives to turn to. A few weeks later, he came back, but everything was colder now. Christian had joined the abuse, mocking him, hitting him. The narrative was set. Leonardo was a lost case, ungrateful, spiritually dead since leaving the Jehovah's Witness. Then came the draft. Military service was mandatory. Leonardo disappeared again, Months later, he returned, dismissed on mental health grounds. He tried once more to live at home. It collapsed again. Now he had alcohol and drugs to numb the pain. The beatings didn't stop. Christian was relentless. The house became a battlefield. Eventually, Leonardo found refuge with Grandma. She took him in with love, but Grandma wasn't alone. I'm skipping a bit. A few months later, Leonardo had to leave because Mum, she implanted some ideas into her younger brother. You have a young wife and another young man in your house. What do you think will happen? That suggestion was enough. Leonardo was out. He returned home defeated. The blame for everything still fell on him. Mom joined in, her voice feeding the chorus. Eventually, Leonardo scraped together enough money to rent a flat in a nearby village. But the gossip followed. Rumors poisoned every bit of the peace he tried to build. Later, he moved again, this time to a remote farmhouse. The owner was an old man, married late in life, childless. Then, unexpectedly, his wife gave birth to a baby boy, and the whispers began. The child looked like exactly Leonardo. Soon after, Leonardo was evicted. He returned home again, but this time something had changed. He wasn't willing to take any more beatings. Drunk, angry, shattered, he began to fight back. Fists, knives, once even a shotgun.